Mario. I am your master.
A Z that stands for Zorro.
She paints life-size boogeymen in children's bedroom closets.
Merece cualquier sacrificio.
Missed it by that much.
Fine, I meant to do that. Yeah, everything's under control now. Wow!
Toonami, I think, shaped the childhood of a lot of people. You'd be chilling at home with nothing better to do, watching cartoons like Ed and Eddie and Dexter's Lab, when all of a sudden, your mind would be blown by crazy anime action and melodrama with the likes of Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Wing. God, I feel old. For many kids my age, it was most likely what introduced us to animation from the land of the rising sun, and was such a contrast to Cartoon Network's regular broadcasting. Toonami was like the cool kid part of Cartoon Network. You go to school the next day and talk about how badass that one episode of Dragon Ball Z was, where Vegeta and Goku frowned at each other the entire time. It gave us variety and something to think about. Not to mention the shows that aired even back in the late 90s and early 2000s still kind of hold up today. Oh man, like remember the Real Adventures of Johnny Quest? That intro was always a trip. And that theme song. Sailor Moon was always a guilty pleasure of mine too. And that theme song.
Fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight, never running from a real fight. She is the one named Sailor Moon.
Oh man, and Batman the Animated Series aired on Toonami too. And that theme song. Oh, and wait. The fuck is this? This is Reboot, which aired on Toonami in 1999 and was one of the first shows to be entirely CG generated, which is why it looks like it belongs in a bowling alley. It's just so soulless and barren. It's like my brain is melting. So this is Bob, the guardian of the city of Mainframe, and his friends Dot Matrix, her brother Enzo Matrix, and a dog named Frisket. Most episodes revolve around these four thwarting the evil schemes of either Megabyte or Hexadecimal, who's goddamn terrifying.
Oh, did you see that, Scuzzy? How sad. All of Mainframe doomed.
Women, am I right, fellas? Wait, so everyone has cool and computery names like Enzo and Megabyte, but our hero's name is Bob? Yeah, okay. Oh man, and how could I not mention Megabyte's awesome voice?
Not to mention the additional bonus of making Bob my own personal servant.
Wait, I know that voice. But from where?
Want me to throw her father into the asylum unless she agrees to marry you?
Sentence for insubordination is death. Such a pity. You threw away a promising career.
What would you say to 100?
Only a lousy $100?
100,000 lousy bucks. On the contrary, death is the ultimate fairness.
Mutants, freaks, outcasts of society.
Holy shit! Tony J was apparently the voice of my childhood. The show actually works like any typical Saturday morning cartoon, where we start with the main characters putzing around, an evil character does something evil, and the main characters attempt to stop it. Usually with a turn where things look bad for the heroes just before a commercial break. Then at the end, something funny or embarrassing happens. Everyone has a big laugh.
You won't believe it, boss.
Well, you might.
It happened.
And again,
we fell to pieces.
we broke up.
It was horrible.
And the episode's over. By the book, standard cartoon fare. What makes this show pretty interesting though is its premise. The city of Mainframe is basically the inside of a computer, and Megabyte and Hexadecimal are computer viruses that Bob fights off to keep them from affecting it.
Anything!
Whoa, that's pretty far out, man. mean there's people living in my computer?
Yeah, I can hear something.
Hello, computer.
And in almost every episode, a game gets downloaded into mainframe and Bob and Co. go in to stop what they call the user from winning.
Right! The user has to find the lost treasure of Atlantis to win the game!
And it's our job to stop him.
So essentially, the people who live in your computer are the opponents in the video games you play. I can't help but notice that the user never seems to play the same game twice in the show. It's always a different one. Probably because these games look like fucking garbage. You got generic space fighter game, generic western game, whatever the fuck this is supposed to be. And what kind of game is this? You race through a circus as a clown? Oh, and of course there's a Call of Duty game.
What's it doing?
I don't think it's learned how to drive yet.
Well, would you please do everyone a favor and put it out of its misery?
Oh, and now the game's gonna kill the user just because it's bored. Well, that's just great. Man, imagine if they had to go into a dating sim game.
Oh, God. I'm so bad.
That would be weird. So Bob has the important task of defeating the user at these games. Why is it important? Because apparently if the user wins, it destroys a chunk of the city.
Game over. User wins. Game over. User wins.
Whoops. Wait, that's not how games work on computer. I mean, I guess this was put in to add a little more spice. You know, add a little conflict. Give the characters something more to do if the two viruses they're fighting wasn't enough. But that really breaks up the whole inside of a computer analogy. Computer keep freezing up? Well, it's probably because you're kicking too much ass at those games, bro. But you know what? I think I'd prefer the inside of my computer be a desolate landscape. If it means putting an end to all these computer puns.
There is an old README file that says you should keep your friends close and your enemies even closer.
My business is doomed. End of file. Log off.
Oh, compile up. Act your age.
Whoa, you lost me, Fong. Can you repeat that? In plain DOS?
CPU! I don't like the smell of this.
Tell us again how you beat the user.
Yeah, download us, Bob. Only he didn't know because I should have copied and pasted the truth from the start.
Till you cut and paste me out of this.
You gotta cool it, Game Boy.
I'm a little source code, short and stout. This is my input, this is my out.
Oh my god, make it stop. I wouldn't even have gotten most of these jokes as a kid. What was the show made for, nerds? Nerds! That's enough out of you, Fred. Well, I basically just went over the first dozen or so episodes, but there are a few that stick out. Like the one where Bob steals a magnet from Megabyte, and naturally everyone in the city is terrified of it. Because, you know, magnets and computers aren't a good mix. Dot accidentally comes in contact with the magnet and starts acting like Max Headroom.
Bob, but it's my problem too.
So Bob needs to cure Dot's condition and asks for help from the city's leader Fong after they play a game of Pong. I just now got it. But can Fong give Bob some sound advice?
Probably not, but I can tell you that Dot needs to access some really slow food. It will decelerate her accelerated condition and return her to normal.
The hell you talking about, Confucius? Oh no, now I'm making puns. Basically, Bob needs to go to a diner and get Dot food. And this happens.
What's the deal with 7? Why is everybody afraid of him?
Because 7, 8, 9!
Okay, that episode was a bad example. There's this cool episode where the game they play is pretty much Dungeons and Dragons, but everyone has to try to beat the game with Mike the TV, who's worthless and annoys the hell out of everybody.
But wait, there's more. Act now, and we'll port you the handy Logomatic absolutely free for only
99.
even though they've already established an annoying little kid as a main character.
And I didn't want to tell you it was for him because you never let me input anything exciting. But I didn't know it was going to get Bob in trouble, and I was fun of megabytes are going to blow up any nanosecond if we don't.
One of them is enough, thank you. Still, it's cool to watch them go through a dungeon and fight monsters and stuff.
That was easy enough.
Yes, Dot? You have something to say? Cat got your disk drive? Damn it. Okay, well how about the episode where it's Enzo's birthday? Or I guess his download day or some shit. And Dot has auditions for his big party. Hey look, it's the guys from the Dire Straits music video. Whoa there, Reboot. Easy now. The hell do the Reboot people have against Dire Straits? That was pretty mean-spirited. This world ain't big enough for 2 nightmare-inducing CG animations. The best part, though, is when Megabyte shows up to crash Enzo's party. But, in a huge twist, it turns out he only showed up so he can fucking shred. This show's weird. Or how about this episode where Megabyte starts draining power from a game, causing it to start locking up. And then the user decides to download another game on top of it.
Oh no! This is terrible! The user has downloaded another game!
Why would someone do that? Oh, fuck, man, the game's freezing up. Yeah, jeez. Well, better fix it by starting a second game. Anyone else automatically assume the user is just some 8-year-old messing with his dad's computer? I mean, I guess the resulting mess is pretty badass. It's giving me some serious Beast Wars flashbacks. And then there's the episode where Enzo's lonely and depressed and...
It's just that talk of the other city reminds me of my father.
It wasn't his fault, Doc. The experiment just got out of control.
I know. I just wish he were here now. I miss him.
The plot thickens. Yeah, suddenly our characters have a past that they apparently share very deep emotions over. This is season 2 and we're only now hearing about Dot and Enzo's dad. In this episode, Enzo becomes friends with a game sprite, basically an obstacle for the user who's built into the game, named Andrea. And she manages to get out of the game when it's beaten and goes on to live in mainframe as part of the core cast.
I downloaded a backup of myself onto your icon. The game let me out thinking I was you.
You can do that?
Apparently.
Suddenly, the rest of Season 2 actually gets a continuous plot where Hex and Megabyte morph together to make a super virus thing. But the day is saved thanks to a lady named Mouse. Really? Mouse? Couldn't call her, I don't know, Screenshot or Broadband? How about Spam? Yeah, I'll call her Spam. Spam here apparently has history with Bob and is just as much of a badass, if her hair didn't already tip you off.
Relax, will ya? This is a simple copy and paste job. No one's gonna get hurt.
Try and keep her steady while I go out and rope this thing.
No, I don't know why a computer component would have a southern accent either. Interestingly, we got little tidbits of her in previous episodes, but now she's here to stay. The result of separating Megabyte and Hex ends up releasing a creature from the web who terrorizes the citizens of Mainframe. But the heroes stop it thanks to fax modem and data nully.
There is no user. That's just induced mass psychosis engineered by the Guardians.
The truth is software. Anyway, the creature ends up escaping and creates a portal to the web. Oh my god! I mean, I think that's a bad thing considering how everyone reacts to it. And the fact that the next episode involves Megabyte and Hexadecimal actually teaming up with the heroes in order to shut down the portal. Alright, I'm confused. Why is the web bad? It's treated like another dimension that evil monsters come from and is even a nuisance to viruses. Well, the show also talks about the net, which is a good thing and works how you'd imagine the net would work, as basically a gateway between one city to another. But in the real world, the web is essentially the same part of the net, only it just accesses websites. Is Reboot telling me that web browsing's bad and will fill my computer with monsters? I mean, come on guys, the internet's not that evil. Yeah, it always does that. So, it's the last episode of Season 2, and I have a very bad feeling about this scene.
By the power vested in me, I give you a field commission as Guardian. First level.
Bob's a goner, isn't he? Yep, Bob is sent to the oh-so-frightening web. Probably gonna be flooded with non-stop pornography. Godspeed, soldier. So, yeah, Bob is gone. Reboot started as a kids show with random episodes that don't affect or refer to each other, and suddenly things get episodic, new characters become permanent fixtures of the show, and the main character is killed off. Or blogged off? Well, actually, if he was sent to the web, then he was technically uploaded? The point is, things start to get serious. Mainframe now becomes Megaframe as Megabytes scheme to get rid of Bob. Well, you know how that went. And now Season 3 starts up with a whole new intro.
Infecting systems, people, and cities to this place. Megaframe. My domain.
So what's left of our heroes are now fugitives to Megabytes' rule, and rather brilliantly, we now have a complete change of tone, as each episode revolves around them trying to thwart Megabytes' advances to the main computer thing.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Enzo, being the new Guardian, now takes Bob's role and goes into games to try to beat the user. This time around, the user definitely seems to have upgraded his gaming library. I mean, check it out, it's a straight up Evil Dead video game.
Yo, she-bitch. Let's go.
Oh, and look, Dot is dressed like Elvira, and Enzo's dressed like Michael Jackson in the Thriller video. I mean, in case you guys didn't get it, those were references to things.
He's just standing there shooting at things. I know! And in the next level, sprites are zombies! They've got flesh on their bones! I don't even want to think about that. I mean, what kind of sick creature gets enjoyment out of playing this sort of game?
What? What, I can't play violent video games? Huh? Can't shoot cartoon people while pretending to save the world? Yeah, well, fuck you. Alright, you just keep sexualizing your female characters in a kid's cartoon, Reboot. Alright? Because, you know, that's not creepy or anything.
Yeah, well, get over it. We've got a mission to start, okay, sugar? And move it. My meter's running.
Indeed.
That firmware ass. Man, they just went all out with the references in Season 3. The next episode has a Wile E. Coyote setting, the user plays a raccoon named Rocky, and Enzo turns into this.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting raccoon.
Oh good, they aren't even trying anymore. Throwing in pointless references is my job, Reboot. Computer, make a pop culture reference.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Haha! And check it out, the show has an honest-to-God dick joke. Classy. And then the episode after that is basically one big James Bond reference, complete with intro theme. Get it? A firewall! Computers! Oh fuck yeah, it's a Mortal Kombat game! See, this is what they should have been doing from the very start. Just straight riffing on real video games. That's so fun. Where's the Mario-like games, the Zelda references, Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Caesar's fucking Palace, anything? What?
Game over.
Here it goes. Get ready.
The user wins.
Enzo.
Holy shit. Okay, Enzo and all of them are still alive. But just for 1 second, imagine seeing this on television with no idea what the next episode would be. This shit blew my mind as a kid. I had been following Reboot on Toonami and was just enjoying it for its typical kids show nuances. I'd watch an episode, have a couple laughs, pick a few boogers, but then this episode comes on. It was unlike anything I've ever experienced on television before, and came from a show with animation that looked worse than the Langoliers. Well, okay, maybe not that bad. And I mean, the fact that it was Enzo, the annoying kid, just supposedly dying, and the show even goes out of its way to get the message across that his death was not gonna be fucking pleasant. But like I said, if you keep watching the series, you find out in the next episode that Enzo is still alive and now fully grown into a gruffy biker dude.
Matrix. Call me Matrix.
Along with Frisket, who doesn't seem to have aged a day, and Andrea, who makes my joystick feel kind of funny.
We were trapped in a game. To survive, we become part of the game.
Yeah, her reboot icon is in a very choice spot. After failing the game, Enzo, Andrea, and Frisket survived by making themselves part of the game so that the game can then transport them to other networks where they hop on the next game and so on until they end up at mainframe. And hold on, they didn't even try to have that make sense, did they? So the same game can send you to different networks? How? Are these all online games or something? Does it even really matter at this point? You know, binge watching these episodes made me realize something. Enzo loses his right eye in the Mortal Kombat game and gets a fancy new high-tech one. And in one of the earlier episodes, Dot has a vision of what the future of Mainframe would be like if she died. And in that, we see a slightly older Enzo with a slash across his right eye. And in the episode where he meets Andrea, he has an eye patch across his... oh, damn it. It's over his left eye. Really thought I was onto something there. At any rate, the tonal shift... ha! Shift! Continues to make things seem more bleak than ever. Most networks our heroes end up at are barren wastes, or just strangely abandoned. And Enzo, who was once the hyperactive optimist, ready to make quips even in the face of danger, has become a bitter, no-nonsense killing machine.
Mercy. Mercy? To a virus? Never.
No better way to kick off puberty than to have your head ripped off, I guess. Even Andrea straight up kills a bitch. Damn. So a show called Reboot, in a way, just rebooted itself. You crafty sons of glitches. I mean, bitches. Again, this show is fucking weird, but it was definitely a blast watching through it again. The references are fun, the voice acting is great, just the animation. It does get better as the seasons go on, but still. I guess for its time it was good, but sometimes even the lack of music makes scenes just awkward.
Okay, mister. First things first. Release my friend. Now!
It's a good thing they chose to mix things up and try to make everything more epic. But will Enzo and Andrea ever find their home again? Will we ever find out what happened to Bob? Will the user ever download a game that doesn't look awful? Probably. Who the fuck knows? I'm out.